Imagine looking down at your phone right now. You see that tiny little line of text underneath a message you just sent. Read 10:42 a.m. And then, just nothing. No typing bubble, just silence. You know that feeling, right? That sudden, visceral drop in your stomach. It's this spike of modern, everyday anxiety. Well, today, we're diving into something truly fascinating and honestly deeply relatable about how our very experience of time is shifting. So, why does silence now feel like a threat? I want you to just gently observe this feeling with me for a second. Think about why a temporary pause, maybe a pending decision at work, or just a gap in a text thread suddenly feels like this dangerous void. We almost always blame ourselves for this. We tell ourselves, oh, I'm just impatient. Or we read these articles claiming we desperately need a digital detox because our attention spans are completely shot. But what if it's much bigger than that? Actually, what if it isn't your fault at all? In this explainer, we're looking at exactly that, why we lost the ability to wait, and the structure of temporal compression in a synchronized society. Our core observation here is that losing our ability to wait isn't a personal failure. It's actually a fundamental transformation in how our civilization structures time. We're not doing productivity hacks or anti-tech rants today. Instead, we're just going to quietly observe how the architecture of our world is literally changing how we experience waiting. Think about the things we all experience every single day. Unread messages, delayed replies, unfinished decisions, lingering uncertainty, silence. Now, we usually brush these off as annoyances, or maybe even personal slights, but they're actually symptoms of a synchronized society. Feeling anxious about these unresolved states isn't some sort of phone addiction. It's a completely natural reaction to a world that has, structurally speaking, unlearned how to pause. The environment around us is vibrating at a frequency that simply doesn't tolerate empty space anymore. We call this continuous shrinking of waiting time temporal compression. Think about the hidden systems running our lives right now. You've got AI processing massive amounts of data instantly, social media feeding us real-time updates, logistics networks tracking packages to the exact minute they'll hit our doorstep, not to mention the constant stream of instant notifications. Our environment has been fundamentally altered. It's basically compressing the very space where time used to naturally flow. The gap between an action and a result is just being aggressively squeezed out of existence. To really grasp this, we need to contrast our modern world with how humanity operated for thousands of years. In older rhythms, life naturally included and honestly relied on delay. You waited for a letter to cross an ocean. You waited for the seasons to change so you could plant crops. You allowed time to pass while waiting for a physical recovery or for a relationship to naturally mature. There was this built-in temporal space. But synchronized rhythms, they demand immediate presence, instant replies, real-time metrics, immediate visibility on a map. Those historical rhythms that gently included delay are being entirely replaced by systems demanding immediate, synchronized presence. Because these temporal spaces are disappearing, our human cognition has been forced to shift its very structure. We now operate heavily in this relentless two-step loop. Constant future prediction followed immediately by a demand for instant confirmation. We're really struggling to preserve ambiguity now. It's incredibly difficult to let a thought mature, or to allow for reinterpretation of an event, or even to just sit in silence. Why? Well, because our brains are constantly anticipating the next synchronized data point, and we need that point instantly to confirm our predictions. And this brings us to what might just be the tragic structural equation of our modern era. Delay equals relational anxiety. You see, a delay is no longer seen as just a pause. It's no longer someone simply taking their time to think or rest. In a highly synchronized system, a delay is immediately interpreted as an anomaly, a breakdown, or worse, a threat of disconnection. If the system is designed to be instant, well, a pause feels like someone actively choosing to pull away from you. So, to cope with this intense anxiety, we've developed these modern survival protocols. Instant replies, instant decisions, immediate visibility, rapid comprehension, and constant position taking. Think about why this matters. Reacting immediately has totally shifted from being just a handy tool for workplace efficiency to becoming the required protocol for existence. Basically, if you aren't visible and reacting instantly, society assumes you've dropped off the map entirely. You literally have to prove you exist by constantly pinging the network. Now, I want to introduce a deeper structural concept to give you a vocabulary for exactly what we're losing in this whole process. It's called phase fluidity. It's our baseline of liquid stability, our tolerance for fluctuation. Basically, it's the emotional and cognitive strength to exist in an unfinished state, to be a work in progress without feeling like the world is falling apart around you. It's the capacity to hold a state of ambiguity without forcing an immediate conclusion or causing some sort of internal collapse.
But as our civilization speeds up, our phase fluidity and maybe even our ability to naturally reconnect is just draining away.
Just think about a beautifully simple everyday phrase like, "see you later." The research notes how a phrase like this historically held a very light gravity. It held a relationship in this beautiful, future-oriented suspension. It didn't force certainty, you know? It didn't demand an exact time and location for the next meeting. It just left a door gently open, preserving a connection while still allowing for all of life's unpredictability.
Contrast that light, gentle gravity with the heavy, unyielding demands of today. Answer now. Show now. Decide now. Our synchronized society demands absolute certainty and immediate resolution. This heavy gravity deeply burdens our ability to keep connections in a resting, unfinished form. We're losing the structural capacity to just let things be for a moment, to let a relationship or a project exist without a firmly defined, immediately actionable next step.
What this all adds up to is a pretty profound realization about the nature of our modern world. What we're losing to this high-speed synchronization isn't just our efficiency or our patience or our attention spans. We are losing liquid time. This is the flowing, unstructured temporal space that is absolutely necessary for thoughts to mature and relationships to breathe. The core issue isn't just that civilization became fast. The issue is that the very liquidity of time itself, the actual space required for true human generation and connection, is evaporating.
The profound mindset shift we need here is to realize that waiting is not passive. It is the intelligence to preserve uncertainty without breaking it. This completely redefines the act of waiting. It's not a failure to act. It's not you being lazy or getting left behind. It's actually a profound intellectual and relational capacity to hold space. It's an active, vital intelligence to maintain that liquid time and to sit with the unfinished without constantly demanding an immediate conclusion. Which brings us to the end of our journey today. So, what do humans truly need? Do we need more speed, more synchronization, or do we desperately need to reclaim the ability to remain unfinished without collapsing our connection to one another? I'll leave you to let that concept of liquid time quietly settle into your thoughts. Thanks for exploring this explainer with me.